Today we are going to reveal how to be you in business, how to springboard not just your financial capability, the marketing, the courses, the trainings you could create, the programs, your services, the offers that you're building, the videos that you produce, the posts that you make, the images that you cultivate, everything related to your business and marketing and brand. It is not going to be as successful, and honestly, it can't be fulfilling unless we have a level of compassion, of passion, of love with our business, with our message, with what it is that we are here to offer the world. So many of you are here because you want to increase a lot of sales. You want to make more money. You want to make a bigger impact in the world. I'm going to share with you how to do all of these things and the way to start tapping into your own ability to connect to your audience, to attract them so that you can not only make the money you want to make, but have the financial fulfillment that you're here to make. So being you in business is all about connecting here to your own compassionate wisdom. So I may be wanting you to take some notes here for a moment. If you have a pad of paper in front of you, that would be great rather than typing. Critical thinking skills are enhanced when you actually write it out. So if you have a pad of paper and a pen, go ahead and start taking some notes here. What I'd like you to connect with is your own level of compassion-driven wisdom. Now, if you can't connect to what it is that you are so wonderful at offering, if you can't connect to the value that you provide that only you feel is so unique with your ability, the highest level skill or that level of wisdom or insight, what is it that you offer to people, professionals, individuals, that is so to you really powerful, really empowering, that you just think is pretty awesome. This wisdom that I'm speaking to is the inner gift that you have to offer the world that can be packaged. Maybe you already have a level of marketing going on. Maybe you're already making money packaging your message in some way or your business in some way. Today, we're going to address how to actually connect to this level of wisdom by getting in touch with it. So again, being you in business, in the context of how we're speaking to it today, is about getting in touch with what makes you unique, what makes you so inspiring for people. If you're thinking right now to yourself, well, I'm not that inspiring, I don't think that highly of myself, Robyn, then you've got a little bit of work to do, don't you? A little bit of work to do to start really believing in your power, in your potency, in your potential to make a bigger difference. If what you want is to make a bigger difference, I've realized this the hard way, the painful way, and I've worked with people on this very issue. I continuously work with them on this and move through this, not just talk about it, but we move through this. Being you is all about connecting to your passion, your wisdom, your insight. Now, compassionate wisdom in business, here, the context, is about how you're giving this action. So it's your passion in action. That's compassionate. Having your passion for traveling, or like me, wanting to just love running around and going to the beach and getting some sun and feeling that warmth and that connection to nature, going and running on and hiking on a trail, being involved with animals, whatever your passion is, whatever you enjoy doing, think about that for a second. When we put that into action, not just for ourselves, Not just for, oh, I get to go to the beach and have fun. I get to go for a lovely hike for myself. Self-care is a huge issue here for people in business, especially if you have a family, a career, your own business, a house, spouse to take care of. All of these things happen where we have to find this level of self-care. But what I'm speaking about is infusing your passion, putting it into action, and giving that, offering that to others. So being able to offer your wisdom, your insight, your talent, your services, your offerings, and package that in a way that makes you feel super excited about what you're doing. And everybody that hears you, that connects with your message, also feels the same way. What we get to do, being who we really want to be in business, is we get to call the shots. So a lot of you, I know, you don't have boundaries. You don't have set boundaries for yourself. So you get run over, you don't charge enough for your services, you are offering too much, you're volunteering too much, you're giving too much away, or you're not giving enough away so that you feel like you have to overgive in certain areas that you're charging for. So there's certain balances that are off for you to feel like, oh, this just feels easy, effortless, this feels good, this feels real, this feels important. In order for you to give this wisdom that you have, especially if you consider yourself someone who's spiritual or connected in some way, we have to be able to put our passions in action. And that's really what allows us to be who we are in business. It allows us to be very authentic. It allows us to just naturally show up in a way that feels good for us and that feels really good for everyone, again, that connects with our vision. If you do not know your vision, if you do not know what your message is, if you do not know how to connect your vision and message with an audience, with people who don't yet know you, I'm not talking about word of mouth and people who already know you from your local area. I speak here to people who don't know you, who have never heard of your name before, never heard of your business before. There's an audience out there who you've yet to target, your ideal audience, because you're so fixated and focused on trying to speak to everybody. Now, we can't expect our potency, our wisdom, to sprout into success. I have here my 4 potent seeds of success, because we can't expect any of this to sprout. We can't expect our passions, our life story, our experiences, everything we've learned and grown from. We can't expect any of that to turn into success in our business if we haven't yet identified what that really is and what that is for what we speak to our audience, to our messenger, the one who's receiving your message right now, the one person out there who has never heard your name before, who has never heard of your business brand before. You've got to connect to them in a way that speaks directly to them so that your passion becomes alive within them, that your life story resonates with them, so that the business, the intention of what you're offering to them, the goal of your business, whatever service you're providing or offering to them, that has to be understood and felt. Maybe not on a conscious level, but definitely on an internal level. People need to really understand, I can just feel you. A lot of people say to me, I just feel what you're saying. I can just feel what you're speaking to. I've never experienced that before, but I feel it inside. These are the types of people that I look to work with. Do you know who you look to work with? Do you know who you want to work with? Do you know who you're inspired to help? Do you know the types of people that get you excited to wake up the next day and do it again and again? Do you feel that? Because if not, there's going to be a big disconnect between making the money you want to make, helping the people you want to help, and actually fulfilling your vision. So to sprout your passions, to be able to share your life story and turn that into a business, you've got to be in touch with how to communicate your value, how to actually know what your message is, what your wisdom's all about. If you can connect to that right now, Go ahead and give yourself that moment right now to truly identify your wisdom, your passions, the thing that makes you feel passionate about waking up tomorrow. If you're treading through quicksand, as I say, if you're feeling like you're working and moving all the time, but you aren't going anywhere, it's going to be really hard for you to make any success happen, any results, real results, maybe short-term shoddy results, but not real sustaining results, which leads me to creating financial sustainability and success. So sustainable financial income means creating an automated marketing funnel and each month for a whole year getting a $10,000 income stream coming from sales you made last year. This is creating leverage online. It's not difficult. It's what Mike and I teach. It's just something that obviously can happen for you, but it can't happen if we don't have the first the first seed in place. So we have to plant and root the seed into the soil. We have to nurture the soil. And in order for the tree to grow and sprout flowers or fruits, nice, tasty, juicy fruits or beautiful flowers, we can't expect it to have any kind of fruit if we're not committed to our passion, to our wisdom, to offering value to others, and to knowing how to actually communicate that. So we can create financial sustainability. We can leverage the internet by creating this sustaining working model online, by connecting our passion, our story, our insights, our wisdom with how we're showing up in the marketplace. Now, I don't know specifically for all of you what your niche or what your field is or where your industry is at. Maybe you're a massage therapist, a Reiki healer, an acupuncturist. Maybe you make natural candles. Maybe you're an eco designer. Maybe you're a coach who wants to branch off into a different type of transformational teaching or create an online course. Whatever it is that you're doing, you can create the sustainable income stream leveraging the internet. Again, the mechanics is a very, very, very small percentage point. What actually takes a bigger chunk of your time, your energy, your resources, and the attention, your focus, is connecting to what it is that you're speaking to and how to relate that to your audience. That's how we attract. We attract by connecting, which leads us into branding your message. So there's a way to connect to this authenticity of you to attract, to create this brand. So a brand is, in my case, something that's meaningful, something that allows those around you who get this to feel inspired or empowered to help them in a bigger way, to make a bigger impact in the world, more consciously, more mindfully, decisions being made because of you, because of what you are here to offer. A brand is where people can find you on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, or through email campaigns, auto emails you set up from an online marketing funnel site, probably how you found Mike or myself, from a web page with a video and an image and some text and an email capture with a headline that captured your attention. All of these things about your brand have to be connected to your authenticity, to your message. Again, coming back to what are you passionate about? What's your story all about? What have you experienced? What have you learned? What have you gained? What are you so proud of that you've experienced and grown from? Maybe you, like many of our students, have experienced sexual abuse or physical abuse or emotional abuse from a loved one, and you've overcome it. And now you're on your own and you're trying to financially make your business work, your message work, but you haven't yet found that courage to step into your story and turn that into something viable financially because you're scared or you just don't know how and you haven't practiced this. It is possible. This is what we teach. It's possible, but you have to learn how to just ask yourself these simple questions in order to have this attraction. Can't be scared to talk about what you believe in if you want to attract people who vibe with what you believe in. You can't be afraid to speak to your message if what you want to do is sell what you're offering in a unique way. You can't be afraid to talk about it. You can't be afraid to post a video. If you are, that's where the work needs to be done. That's where we have to do that kind of work. Integral work, personal work. That's what Mike and I teach. Making your impact the fourth potent seed to your success. Making an impact is important because if you're not making an impact, what are you really doing? You're just kind of leading the way like everyone else without really doing any good. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are selling nothing. They're selling you an empty shoebox. There's a lot of great marketers out there who don't really have a lot of substance. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means that they don't connect to making an impact. Making an impact isn't just about me making money financially and saying, haha, now I have $5 million in my bank account. It's not about that. Making your impact is about feeling fulfilled with how you're relating your message, with how your brand is showing up for others, with how you get to uniquely connect your message to the world, to people who want to hear what it is that you can help them with. So there's got to be this level of connection with the level of impact that you want to make. So if you have that notepad in front of you, go ahead and just jot down a few notes. What kind of an impact do you want to make? If you write down making millions of dollars, this probably isn't the right place for you. If it's about helping people in a bigger way, maybe helping them through a health challenge, through surviving cancer, through overcoming the death of a loved one, through finding confidence in their ability to work through divorce and make money, that's what this is all about. Being you in business is about, yes, financially being fulfilled, but also by internally being fulfilled as you're making a bigger difference in the world. This is hand in hand. We can't expect to be someone who makes a bigger difference and an impact if we're not connected with our passions, if we're not connected with what brought us here, with our story, with our wisdom, with our insights internally. It's got to come from the internal. So I lead you now to these 3 questions, which I find are extremely helpful. And compassionate wisdom, again, is really leading into why you're here. Why are you here put on this planet? Why are you here in this place of insight to learn from, to grow from? What brought you to this place of awareness? Why are you here? You have the potential to really go deeper now, and I invite you into this place. So, what is your inspired message? I spoke a little bit about that when we got in touch with our passion and our wisdom, but now let's try to look at this. What is your inspired message? This is something that you want to look at, listen for, ask yourself until it arises, until it comes to clarity. What is your inspired message? What are you inspired to speak to? What are you inspired to offer? What are you inspired to teach? Who are you here to serve? So once we have our message, we then get to ask ourselves who it's for. Who can it serve? What kinds of people will this be good for? If you offer a gluten-free detox for a diet, a nutritional way of eating healthy, maybe you want to target people who aren't already eating that way. Maybe your goal is to reach people who don't yet know how to eat gluten-free. And if that's the case, your inspired message has to speak directly to people who don't yet know how to eat gluten-free. If your intention of your message is to reach people who already do eat gluten-free and you're providing them with interesting recipes and they already are following that kind of a diet, then you don't need to educate them on gluten-free eating. You move immediately into offering them value on how to create amazing tasting foods that are gluten-free, but you don't need to educate them on how to make that transition. So I hope that makes sense, because that's a big difference between you putting out a message to the wrong audience a lot of you are doing that. A lot of you are putting out a message to the wrong types of people and expecting them to buy, whereas they don't quite understand what you're offering. It's not quite for them, so it doesn't really make sense. So you're thinking that, well, I'm putting out this message about gluten-free eating, but nobody's buying. But I have all these people who say that it's great. It's because your message is in alignment with where they're at. You're speaking to the part of the brain that is maybe already there. Maybe they already eat gluten-free, and you're not quite educating them in the way that they need you to. So that leads us into what is your plan of action. So once we have an inspired message, once we know who you're here to serve, once we have this beautiful brand in place within the context of what we're here to do and offer, then we get to start putting a plan of action in place to see it through. So what is your plan of action? Do you have one? Do you have a solid plan that takes you out 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to the rest of your life? Do you have a plan? Do you have a specific route, a path that you're moving gracefully through to see your vision through? Or are you making that shot in the dark, shooting a dart in the dark, trying to see where it lands and hoping that it lands where you want it to? So we've got to connect to these three things: our message, and of course being inspired by our message, knowing who we're serving, specifically our ideal audience, and knowing how to create a plan of action to see the vision through, not just waking up and wondering what we're doing for today, because that's not going to lead us to results. Specifically a plan of action to see it through. So if these are areas that you see yourself wanting help with, or you know for a fact that you just can't go at it alone and you want the support and the guidance to see this through, to connect to your message and figure out what that is, to redefine your message perhaps and redefine your brand to create something online that actually brings you results that you want financially, internally, to be able to tap into and attract an audience, ideally for your message, to be able to create a solid, grounded, rooted plan of action to see your vision through. If these are things that you are resonating with and you want support with, I suggest that you go to wholelifeedu.com and leave me a little message there, connect with me. Maybe you already have done that, but go ahead and do that again, or do it for the first time. Whole Life EDU, there's 2 E's, so WHOLELIFEEDU.com. Go ahead and go there and leave me with a few things that you're inspired to share, a little bit about your message or what you'd like your message to be. If you already have a business, share with me a little bit about that. If you already are connecting and selling your services to an audience, share with me what it is that you feel you want support with, where your gaps are, what you're missing out with. If you have zero groundedness going on and you have no plan of action, let me know that. So that way we know exactly where to begin with creating a plan of action to help you see your vision through. And there's a lot that can be done, absolutely. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. It doesn't have to take a lot of money. It doesn't have to take a lot of energy if you do it right. If you set it up right, it can be effortless. Effortless means it still takes work, but it's less effort. It's less work, less effort, less energy, more fun, more enjoyment, more fulfillment, more abundance, more of what you really want, less of what you don't want. This can happen for you trusting yourself, trusting my word, trusting the judgment of Mike Klingler and myself to bring you to this level of compassionate wisdom so that you can be you in business. Go ahead and raise your hand if you have any question at all. There is a little hand panel there. If you're on your phone, you may not be able to access that to connect, but if you're on a computer device of some kind, you may be able to find that. Go ahead and raise your hand if you have any question at all, if you want to connect with me here today, this afternoon, to ask me any question. I'll give you a few moments here. I see a few names that I've never seen before, so welcome to those of you who've, for the first time, joined us on a webinar. So I don't see any hands. A lot of people are maybe too shy to ask a question, but I do appreciate you being here. I see Jay. I see Jay raised your hand. Okay, I'm gonna connect with you, Jay, and we'll see what's going on with you over there. I'm not sure where you are in the world. Are you there, Jay? I can hear you, Jay.
Oh, I can talk?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you. One of the things that I've been interested in doing is being able to promote awareness about domestic violence. And I find that whenever I try to garner support for it, that people are just afraid because it's such a serious and sensitive subject. So I was wondering, how is it that I can get awareness about that subject? The signs to look for in a person, that the character traits that they have, and how to get out of it without people feeling so afraid, and without them feeling such negative
Mm-hmm.
response to it.
Jay, that's a great question, and let me just reframe again and restate what you said so that I make sure that it's clearly what you asked. So I believe what you asked is how do I start to frame a message appropriately to an audience that allows them to not be afraid of what I'm saying, but to gain the awareness of learning how to not struggle with domestic violence, but take the support and advice from you, Jay,
Right.
from your messaging to be able to accept your message, to accept your offer, and to move through that without being afraid and without being fearful. Uh, is
Mm,
that what you're saying?
yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, the thing that, and I suppose that you've experienced in your past domestic violence.
Yes, and
Okay.
so I
Well, let
had to
me
even learn that I was in it. So that's what I want people to know. If they're experiencing these certain things, then you're in an abusive situation, get out.
Let me ask you a couple questions. How open are you on a scale of one, two, three? One being hiding in the closet, three being shouting on the rooftop, two being kind of there. How open
No,
are you
I'm
to sharing your
open. I'm
story?
completely open.
Okay, so when you do share your story, are you sharing it with people who already know you, or are you sharing it with people who don't know you?
Both.
Okay. And when you share it with people who don't know you, what has been the response?
None, actually. The thing is that I know that it's there, but they're afraid to, like when I'm letting people know some of these things on like Twitter or Facebook, they're afraid to even just like it, or they don't even have to like it or respond. But then I do have a few people that told me that they had been involved in it and they appreciate the fact that I'm getting the message
Hmm.
out there. But
Well, there's two
uh,
things happening, Jay. There's two things. One thing is
uh
that you're not framing your message appropriately, which is what I come across with everybody that hires us to help them. That when
okay.
they come to us because they're not attracting enough clients, they have a good message like you do, and you have a fantastic story, I'm sure, to share with the world, but you're not framing it in a way that's exciting, that's motivating, that's inspiring me to get up and say, wow, 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 I want to go listen to you speak on a stage, or I want to pay you to help me. So,
Mm,
what we have to do is we have to learn how to frame our message appropriately to our specific audience. So, what has to happen is, and it takes time, it's not just one day I tell you what to do and you do it.
right.
It's a
Yes.
practice that we have to refine like a diamond in the rough. We have to refine our message. We have to hone in on our skill sets. We have to come forward not generically, oh, let's talk about domestic violence, let's see if you're in it, but we have to frame it appropriately and guide the audience step by step by step through a series of messaging. This takes time.
Okay.
This takes
Okay.
it takes an appropriate level, like you said, of awareness to guide our audience through. This is why marketing funnels are very important, not just a website that says click this and people get distracted or overwhelmed. But
Mm.
it's giving people video content, messaging, like webinars like this,
Okay.
imagery, using your messaging appropriately to speak to them. The other thing is being in the wrong place all the time. A lot of people that I meet, they're posting on Facebook and Twitter, and nobody's seeing it, and
Hmm.
nobody is buying what they're offering. So you have to learn where to show up. You have to learn it's not just what you're saying that's great. You could write a best-selling novel, but if you're not showing up in the right places, people won't see it. So we have to learn how to, like I said, frame the message appropriately using a structured online presence that moves people through our marketing, and then of course showing up in the right places for them to see it.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you for that. So at the wholelifeedu.com, do you have like any courses in helping me sort of frame this message that you're telling me about?
We have three different levels of courses available. We actually have as well a sister school. It's our Academy of Coaching Cognition, which I was going to mention to you is it's part of the package with the branding and marketing that we do with Mike and I. And our academy it's accredited courses with ICF, the International Coach Federation. So these are the
Okay.
skills that are required to enhance your message, to hone in on that confidence, to be able to have that kind of clarity with your audience, knowing how to actually serve them at that high level, not just to be a coach. Oh, Jay is a certified coach. That's not the point. The point is to teach you how to actually excel as an entrepreneur with the foundation of the skill. So
Okay.
we teach that as well as offering marketing and business consulting and mentoring and branding support. But the coaching is also part of it. So what I can do is we can definitely connect, and I can share with you more about the coaching entity, the part of us sharing with you about marketing and branding and business development. So there's different layers that we offer depending upon what you need and where
Okay.
you're at in your business. So go ahead and
Okay.
go to Whole
So
Life
I'll put in
EDU.
my contact information.
Absolutely, and just share with me a little bit more if you have any links that your Facebook page or your Twitter page, you can share with me that, and that way it will give me a little bit of insight about what you've got going on already.
Okay, sure. Yes, I can do that.
Yeah, we can talk about possibilities. There's a lot of people that I work with who, like I said, have been through abuse. Mike has been emotionally abused. I've been sexually abused. We came out
Hmm.
of it with a passion for wanting to help people in a bigger way. So
Okay.
many of the people we work with have been abused because they have this big desire to make some kind of an impact. And they're using their experiences and their life story as well to share this kind of an insight with people in a really unique way. And if we can package your value uniquely, not generically, but in a unique way, Jay, that's what's going to have you attract the right types of people where you stand out in the marketplace rather than be in competition mode with others.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I can't wait to talk to you.
Yeah, yeah. So go ahead
Okay.
and yeah, leave me with the best information. Let me know your time zone as well, and then
Oh,
we'll connect, and I'll reach out to you, and
okay.
we'll schedule some time together.
Okay, great, great. I look forward to it, Robin.
I do as well,
Thank you so
Jay.
much.
Thanks for
You
having the
have a
courage to raise your hand.
great Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye bye.
All right, ladies. I see a lot of ladies still here. So if you're wanting to, like Jay did, raise your hand and ask a question, you're welcome to do that. I see a few people who, again, I've never spoken to before. It's fantastic to meet people for the first time on webinars like this. So we tend to love new connections. Of course, there's a lot of people I see here who are our students, so I've known some of you for many years as well. So I don't see anyone else raising their hand, and if you have any other questions, like Jay did with me today here on your business or your message or how to package your value or get in touch with your audience and connect with them to lead them through some kind of a unique offering, then definitely leave me a message at wholelifeedu.com. So again, WHOLELIFEEDU.com, and let me know a little bit more about your vision so I can connect with you and help you create something authentic, meaningful, and inspired. I look forward to hearing from you. Robyn Linn, being you in business. Bye for now.